So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Villa fans. How are we doing? And welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I was actually going to say it only seems like yesterday when we were chatting to you, because it was actually only yesterday. I just realised all my days are rolling into one. It is Sunday, and yeah, we're going to do a bit of a preview for the PSG game coming hot in the heels of yesterday's game, and obviously a game we'll all be looking forward to for Tuesday. It's going to be a tough preview to do. I'm going to just preface this one because PSG haven't played a game this weekend, so you have to think that they're going to go exactly the same as they did last week, or maybe Barcola comes in for Douay. I don't know, but Villa have played a game, and you just don't know what the dichotomy or what way that's going to affect. I suppose Villa obviously having a bit more sharpness, scoring 3 goals, dominating a team. Now coming to play against PSG. Do you think that's going to have any bearing on the weekend, Paddy?
You always throw me when you say that. The weekend, it is the weekend. The match is on Tuesday.
Sorry, Tuesday, yeah. Just play every game on a Saturday and have a 52-week weekend football.
And yeah. I don't think PSG's team selection is going to have any bearing, whether it is Douay or Barcola, and it's all up to us how we go about it. If we can go and lay a glove on them early, we have a chance. If we don't, nobody expected us to be here. We'll go and have a party on Tuesday night, and we'll celebrate what an amazing run it's been to where we are. But if we can go and score a goal, then who knows? Anything is possible. Absolutely anything is possible. But we need to be careful, because do we need to be careful? We could get hit on the break. We could end up shipping 4 or 5. Does it really matter if we do? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think this is just going to be a day out for us to go and enjoy ourselves. If something comes of it, something comes of it. If not, we'll enjoy ourselves anyway.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, I'm thinking this, that look, the shackles are off in this game. And winning the game at the weekend and having Newcastle to play the following Saturday, I think, while obviously this game is important, the shackles are off. You can only be heroes on Tuesday night. Think of it that way. You can only be heroes because there is nobody that lives outside the greater Birmingham area that gives an absolute, well, should I say, obviously we live outside the greater Birmingham area, but you know what I mean? There's nobody not within the Villa family, or I would go so far as to say within the greater Birmingham area, that gives a shite about whether Aston Villa lose 3-0, 4-0 or 5-0. Lose by 3, 4 or 5 goals. And obviously they can't lose to 0 considering they scored in the last leg. But you know what I mean? Nobody really cares, because everybody's expecting us to get beaten because Liverpool were beaten by this team, and everyone has this team anointed as the best team in Europe. And you know, we're not saying that they're wrong, but let's say John McGinn goes in at the back post early on and it becomes 3-2. I think there'll be a lot of excitement. And I don't think that Villa can't do that, if that makes sense. You know, I think Villa can do that very much so. Could score the first goal at home, and then we see where it goes from there. Do they go on to win it? Who knows? But I'll tell you at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. But I think that Villa can make this exciting. But it could be a case where we score first and we end up losing 6-2 in aggregate. You know, something along those lines. And I think that's okay, as you said. But we have to go at them early, and we have to definitely pin back their 2 fullbacks, which is easier said than done.
I disagree with some of what you said. I think people do care outside of B6 and outside of the greater Birmingham area. I think most of England would like to see us do very, very well in Europe. Would they like to see us win it? Probably not. But I think the whole of England is behind us. I think most of Europe will be behind us against PSG. I also think they're not the best team in the competition. I think they're the second best team in the competition, because they will ultimately come up against Barcelona at some stage. But it's all on us. This result is all on us and how we go at this weekend. If we can score early, I reckon they'll retreat into their shell. There's something they're not used to. They're playing in a Farmers League, a very, very poor competition. That's a procession as opposed to a league. Lille booked the trend a few years ago between them and Lyon. But other than that, you can pick at the start of the season who's going to win that league. It's an absolute procession. So it's up to us to inflict our game on them. If we can do it, then happy days. We're going to have a magical night on Tuesday night, regardless of the result. If we can't, we've gone out with a fight, and that's how the game panning out. Us go out with a fight. If that means they turn us over in the last 30 minutes of the game, so be it. But at least we'd have gone out trying and showing the world, from Botafogo to Ballahadreen, that we can do this, that we're capable of competing at this level, and we will have one hell of a party on Tuesday night, regardless of what happens. And that should be the way it is, because we're in the quarterfinal of a European competition. We've probably no right to be there at this stage, but we're there, so we'll enjoy it. We'll give our best, and there's a lot of people criticising the words that Unai Emery is using. I don't get it. He brought this team from relegation to relegation potentially under Steven Gerrard to where we are this week. And that needs to be celebrated above everything else that's happened. Celebrate it, enjoy it, drink it in, and who knows, we might just cause an upset on Tuesday night.
Yeah, just to clarify, what I meant was about people not caring. I meant people don't care whether we lose by 3, 4, 5 or 6 goals on aggregate. Obviously, people want us to win. And that's what I mean, is we can only be heroes, because if they win, everybody will care about this. If we win, everybody will care about this game. So that's what I meant by going for it and having a right crack off them early doors. And to do that, Paddy, I suppose we're probably looking at Rashford on the left, Watkins up top.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the way to go.
I'm all for that. We have to go for it, and I think that's the best way of going for it. I think we keep the right back penned in. Hakimi will be afraid of Rashford probably more than he would be of Ramsey. Rashford will see more of the ball than Ramsey. So yeah, that would be my team pick anyway. And that's no slight on Jacob Ramsey, who's been great since he came back, and we spoke about that during the week. It's just horses for courses now, and I think the horse we need on the left-hand side is Marcus Rashford and Ollie Watkins up top. Hopefully, and I've said this many times, feed off what he's done at the weekend, feed off of that majestic goal he scored yesterday, and drive it on, go for it. There's no fear anymore. There is no fear. This is ours to lose now. If we don't go for it, we'll have regrets for the rest of the season in those players' minds, and that could filter into what we do in the league. So we have to go for it. And nobody is going to criticise them if we come out of this losing 3-0. Nobody.
Absolutely.
You might have the usual soundbite kings on Sky Sports or TNT, but nobody gives a shit what they have to say. The real football fan will know that we need to go for it. If we fail, we fail. If we've gone for it, then we'll all feel much better about it.
And I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like I've often said in this podcast, no matter what happens in a game, never feel embarrassed. You know, a lot of people go, "Oh, that was an embarrassing loss." I'm going, nope. You'll very rarely, I may have said it once or twice, but you'll very rarely hear me say that about any loss being embarrassing, because I'm never embarrassed about Aston Villa. I don't get embarrassed if the team has a bad loss or anything. Players can be embarrassed about themselves as they want. And the reason being is because I didn't play in the game, so I don't wish. You know, call me whatever type of disorder that is, the fact that I have to stringently demark that in the sand from an emotional and a mental point of view. I don't know. I'm sure there's some amateur psychiatrists out there that are diagnosing me based off that and other tisms that I think I've shown maybe on this podcast. But you know, that's what I would say. You know, go out with a fight and do it and you know, do yourself proud, because this is a season to be proud of for the club, specifically in Europe. And like, you know, we've had this PSG team finds way to lose. Not this PSG team. PSG historically have found ways to lose games when they shouldn't lose games. You know, they have really done it. It was at Dortmund last year. They should have beat them. Obviously, that Barcelona game with Unai Emery will probably still wake up in cold sweats about. There are quite like they've not won this competition. They are perennial white line fever getters, and I'm not saying that we're the team to give them that white line fever, but an early goal. It's a young team as well, very young team. Early goal could put the shits up them, you know. And as someone said in the comments there a moment ago, like, even if we concede one, it doesn't matter. We still need to score 3 to win the game anyway. You know, obviously it makes it easier if we don't concede one because we going to have to score 2 to bring it to extra time. But you know, it makes sense that you have to attack this one early. You cannot go with six in the back line and invite all that pressure again. You just cannot, because it ain't going to work. And that brings me, Paddy, if we're playing Marcus Rashford on the left and Ollie Watkins up top, who are you playing through the centre? Are you going to play, who are you playing then? Because I presume you have to have Rodgers in there, and then it makes, there's going to be an odd man out between McGinn and Asensio. Who do you play to start? Because I'm thinking you kind of have to play McGinn to start.
Well, I'd be on the other foot. I think we have to play Asensio. I think Asensio has no future at PSG. I think this is a shop window. Put him in there. If we're not going to sign him, somebody else will sign him. It's an opportunity for him to show what he's capable of. Is there a case for playing McGinn alongside Tielemans or Kamara, or push one of them? I honestly think McGinn doesn't start. That way, if I was picking the team, and that's no slight in John McGinn, we all know I love him. In my opinion, I think it has to be Rashford, Rodgers, and Asensio behind Ollie Watkins. And who knows, we could be wrong with that. It could be McGinn, Rodgers, and Asensio behind Rashford. and who's the second? Me and you speak so often about how hard these previews are hard to talk about. And that's the reason, because we just don't know what he's going to do. And it is very possible that he does that. You know, there's permutations there now. We're only missing Leon Bailey. That's
he probably other than that for this game.
Maybe. But does he get in there? Probably not. I don't think so. I don't see any place for him even on the bench with what we have at our disposal. In
the Champions League, it's probably different because we won't have Malin and we won't have Garcia, so he probably comes in there as the
direct. There's probably more spaces,
Malin, maybe.
But it's very possible we don't see him next or near it, and it's very possible that we pick any of the 3-4 that we've spoken about. But I really do think it's McGinn that misses out. I just have that in my head. I think he has to go for it, and he's got those 3 players who are capable of anything on their day. Really upsetting the apple cart here, and look, I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever he decides to do.
Yeah, my reasoning for McGinn being in there is I think he will still want to flood that midfielder. I think he still will want somebody who will be able to play between the 2 lads, Neves and Vitinha. He will stay. And McGinn, I thought, watching back the PSG game again, I thought McGinn was absolutely, like I said, he was good in the first leg in the post match. Thought he was even better. Just his shape work was superb. The way he where he was where he needed to be. He didn't commit to stuff. And I think he might do that again, just to have that person in there, because I think having Rashford and Rodgers maybe on the wings, and I know people will talk about Rodgers playing the right hand side, but he doesn't really when McGinn's in there, because McGinn tucks back. Rodgers kind of comes in a kind of a half position. I think that's the way he's going to go. But look, as you said yourself, there's no wrong answer here. You know, that's the squad that we have here at the moment. That's the squad we have here is quite good. And look, hey, again, as I say, or maybe I didn't say it, but I was thinking about it. You know, it's slightly hypocritical to say, "Oh yeah, you go with John McGinn, but you need to start quickly." Like if you start with Asensio, you're going right. We're going to try, and in the first 20 minutes here, because the crowd is going to be absolutely top notch, as they always are in Champions League and European nights. They're going to be absolutely out of this world. And I think you're going to be one of them, Paddy, when you're over there. As half the Villa supporting population of Ireland that isn't named Neil Dunworth anyway are going to be over there screaming their guts up. Who's to know what can't happen, especially if you've an Asensio in there, and all of a sudden he gets one of his snapshots off in the box, pings into the top corner. Villa 1, PSG 0. 10 minutes gone in the game, the crowd starts to go. As I said before, young players, young players like that. That PSG team is a young team, and they're a very good team. Don't get me wrong, but lights can get brighter when you're younger. Like a lot of the time, players will stand up and be counted in that moment. But this team, when it's had superstars at its disposal who've been to World Cup finals and whatever, and are used to winning leagues and used to doing it, they've wilted under the bright lights and under the pressure of situations like that. So anything is possible. And I know it's very cliche, but anything is possible. On Tuesday, it's also possible that they take a shot directly from the kickoff if they get the kickoff first and it pings in the top corner and Martinez isn't ready. That's also possible. But like, it's me being facetious here. Like, we have to, and the team have to believe that something good can happen for Aston Villa in the first 10 minutes. A penalty, even. I don't know whether people will be confident with Asensio stepping up to that. I know he has said Marcus Rashford is our penalty taker already. He said Rashford is a penalty taker when he wasn't on the field. Asensio is a penalty taker. And he actually named out our 5 penalty takers, which I thought was ballsy. He said Rashford, Asensio, was it Ollie Watkins, Yuri Tielemans, and he said John
Morgan
McGinn?
Rogers,
I can't remember. I think he might have said right. Yeah, but he named out 5. Like, he basically said, "Here's our penalty takers. Fuck it." And I was going, exactly. Sure, it doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter
there's
who
no
the penalty
guarantee that the 5 of them are going to be on the pitch anyway at the same time.
Exactly.
You missed an opportunity there. You talked about Asensio pinging one in from the top corner. I think you should roll the ad while we think of it.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a good one, Paddy, because as we've said before, this podcast, we have a short-term sponsorship with NordVPN, and I'm just going to play the advert for this here. If you are in the market for a VPN network, please consider us and please consider our link. It's nordvpn.com/FTLoPM, and I'm just going to play a little advert here as well. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll be back with you in about 80 seconds. All right, lads and lasses, let's take a quick break from all things Villa and talk about something every football fan needs. And that's keeping your online game as tight as Ezri Konsa's man marking. And that's where NordVPN comes in. Whether you're streaming the match on Wi-Fi at the pub or checking the latest transfer gossip without your boss clocking it, NordVPN's got your back. It's dead simple. It encrypts your connection, hides your IP, and lets you sidestep those geo-blocks so you can watch the footy from anywhere. Imagine seeing Asensio crack one in the top corner versus PSG in 4K from one of Nord's 7,400 servers in 118 countries. Just change your virtual location easily, no buffering and no hassle. I use it myself, so it's a no-brainer to go get an exclusive NordVPN discount of up to 74% plus 4 extra months when you sign up to 1 year or 2 year plans at www.nordvpn.com/FTLoPM. The link is in the description, so go click on it now and sign up and help us here for the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. So head to www.nordvpn.com/FTLoPM, sign up and keep your online moves safer than Emi Martinez's goal during the penalty shootout. Cheers to NordVPN, and now let's get back to all things wonderful about Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Up the Villa!
Now you have to re-record a new one.
I have to, yeah. After this one, I have to re-record a new one. Exactly. I'll put a bit more zest into the new one for the Newcastle game. Right, Paddy. We were talking there about Marcus Asensio pinging one in. I had something else I was going to ask you about. Yes, centre half partnership. Who do you think he goes with at home? I have a funny feeling he's going to go Mings Konsa.
I think he goes Torres Konsa, and that's we're completely different. That's why this podcast works for a lot of people. We don't agree on a lot of things. I just believe Pau Torres just gives us so much in an attacking sense from his out ball. We've seen what happened with that John Duran goal. I'm not going to say that's going to happen again this week, but he just has that in his locker, which I don't believe Mings does. And the European experience and pedigree that he has will stand him above everybody else. Konsa is just an amazing footballer. How blessed are we to have him? What's he, 6 years into this now? Amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing. 5 or 6 years in, here we are still talking about Ezri Konsa in our centre-half position. Delighted for him. Delighted for Tyrone Mings to be still part of it. But for me, for the day that's in it, it has to be Pau Torres.
And again, I don't think it's funny. Like, we've got a good squad. There's no wrong answer with regards to this. The only reason I was saying he might go with Mings is because if we are going to go guts and glory, and we are going to go with leadership in the field, and we are going to go with a communicator and somebody who can G players up and everything, again, Mings is the man to do that. You don't hear Pau Torres doing a lot of shouting and communication, stuff like that. That's not a negative. I'm just talking solely about cheerleading and motivation and trying to get your point across about how big this game is, and being a protector of English football, like Tyrone Mings comes across to be, and hence being named on the Euro 28 board. That was just my thoughts on that one. But once again, there's no right or wrong answer on that. We're blessed to have two fantastic left-footed centre halves. And then the other question, Paddy, is right back. What do we do there? And I suppose left back, because Matsson's been lights out the last two games he's played for us in the league.
Yeah, I think Maatsen might be the answer in this one. Just because of his attacking prowess. Defensively, we've seen weaknesses. I think it's fair to say. I do think it's Matty Cash on the right hand side, but I think I'd be very disappointed if I saw Disasi in there playing at right back, because we've looked exposed every time he's been there, and I don't want to explain myself again, but I have said he's been brilliant at centre half every time he's played at centre half. But please don't play him at right back.
We've got consitis with him, both of us, I think, at the moment, because we really like him as a player.
He's been excellent.
Yeah,
he at centre half he's been excellent. He hasn't been the, what do they call him, disaster or whatever the Chelsea call him.
That was very unfair by Chelsea. Yeah, we haven't seen that.
Awful. I really like the guy as a footballer, but playing him out of position, he gets sucked in too easy. We saw it against Forest last week. It was a tough watch. Don't want to see it again. No slide on him. Play Matty Cash. We have him there. Obviously, he runs the risk of getting suspended for the next round. Should we get into it?
No, it resets in the semi-final.
It's not white once he picks up the second one, though. Sure, it's not.
I think it is. Well, I'm only going by what
I think it refreshes to 0 after the semi-final. So if you've got a suspension going in, or after the quarter-final, so if you've got a suspension going into it, you have to serve it. But I think we can safely say that we'll worry about that when we get to the semi-final. So play the best team at your disposal. He's the best right back we have at the club, both in a defensive and attacking sense. And hats off to him all these years later to be still talking about him in this conversation, because there was a lot of people, including me at one stage, would be more than happy for us to upgrade him. And he's done very, very well this season. But for me, I think that's the ultimate call. I don't think that Dean Maatsen is the call. We have to play Matty Cash at right back. It's a must.
Well, I think playing a recognised right back is a must for me. In that instance, and look, if you need to take him off, you need to change it, then that's what you do, because we're in a situation whereby, and just looking at the comments, they're flying past there. I think somebody said that Cash isn't very good offensively. He's a hell of a lot better than Disasi is offensively, and unless we start looking at maybe playing Paul Miller. Now you're talking my language. Last time you bring Disasi on, you put him up top. Absolutely.
The Christopher Samba role.
I'm all for that crack. Yeah, I'm all for that crack. Yeah, put
all for the mayhem
in round holes and see what happens. If you take away that very kind of methodical kind of structure-based game of PSG. How do you do that? You go over their midfield and you make them scratch their heads as the ball's going over their heads, going, what the fuck are they doing here? Putting Disasi up front. Disasi and Mings. Play the two of them up top and see what happens. See if you can cope with that, Marquinhos and Pacho. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we know that's not going to happen. But it's fun to think about it. Anything else, Paddy? Anything else you want to go through here? Do we have anything? Actually, let me see. Do we know anything about the referee? PSG. Aston. I just really want to use my referent. Jose Maria Sanchez.
Tell me Spanish.
Well, with a name like that, he's not from Ballahadreen, as you said previously. He would be the referee for the game. He's going to be assisted by Raul Caballero and Inigo Prieto. Alejandro Munez Ruiz will be the fourth official, and Carlos de la Cuero Grande and Cesar Soto Grando will be the VARs. And that all came from PSG. So the fact that, let me do a little quick Google on this mush. Let me see. Do you know what? Jose Maria Sanchez Martinez match fit. No, I won't get into that. Not like the German lad that we had previously. He's 41. He's from Lorca in Spain. He's an economist by occupation, so I'd like to think that he's pretty practical.
Where in Spain is he from?
He's from Lorca. It's in Murcia
L-O-R-C-A?
in Spain. That's it, yeah. It's like Larkin without the N. So he's down the opposite end of Spain to where Unai is from. I was hoping to be up close enough, and he might do one of his old friends no favour. Yeah, he was one of the VAR officials for the Women's World Cup final in France 2019. I don't know, does that spring to mind? He did it. Yeah. He's been a La Liga referee since 2015. He's FIFA listed since 2017, so he's definitely not inexperienced. Let's see what he's...
Gabriella just said hello to me. I hope to God... I don't think I swore on this podcast, did
I? No, I don't think you did.
Michael's daughter loves when I swear on the podcast, because I reckon Michael isn't the kind of person that would swear. So,
in the Champions League this year. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not sharing this. I thought you guys could see it. Sorry. Let me share this up. So here we go. So these are statistics in La Liga. He's at 16 appearances, 84 yellow cards, 5 yellows per game. Gives out 0.63 penalties per game. I don't know whether that's good or not. What's that? There's that 8 penalties, 9 penalties this season. Yeah, he's giving away penalties this season. Anyway, 2 red cards. He's given away, so 1 in every 8. The Champions League this year as well. He's had 6 games. He's given away 2 penalties. He's given 2 penalties in the Champions League this year. Listen. This, yeah, look, okay. We can only go past this prologue with regards to this. And we'll see what the crack is here with him. Look, I don't know if he's any fucking good or any bad. I'm sure we'll tell you he's bad afterwards anyway. Let's see here. Let's see. Teams. Who is he? So let's see. So against, who's he giving these penalties away penalties against Las Palmas? Yeah, he's a pile of penalties given. He's 2 penalties given away against Athletic Bilbao. This is interesting. He's a pile of penalties. He gave 2 penalties against Celtic in the what was that? That must have been the Champions League this year. What game was that? When did Celtic give 2 games away or 2 penalties away? Let me see. Celtic Champions League. We beat them 4-2. They didn't have a pile of tonkings this year, did they? No. Champions League. Bayern Munich might have been. No, it wasn't that game. Look, if anybody needs to go and do anything, now is probably a good time, because the podcast ain't going to get any better from here, I don't think. I'm just trying to find out. I'm trying to find out when Celtic got a hammer in the Champions League, but I can't seem to find it. Anyway, I'll admit defeat on it. But yeah, he gave 2 penalties away against Celtic. I imagine that was in the Champions League. But yeah. So look, here we'll be able to find it here. This is his list of games. Where is it? Champions League. So he ref Dortmund and Lille. 1-1, ref Feyenoord when they beat AC Milan 1-0. Yeah, this, like, as I say, I'm not big on my... There it must have been. Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, 2 penalties. 2 penalties he gave away then. Or he gave on the 1st of October. So, there we go. That's Mr. Sanchez something. Mr. Sanchez Martinez. And... yeah, hopefully he does know solid for his namesake as well in goals. Emiliano. Exactly. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, listen, we're going to go and we're going to leave you guys back to your Sunday afternoon. We're going to be back again Tuesday with Team Sheet Tantrum and Post-Match Podcast. And then on Thursday, we'll do a preview of the Newcastle game. And that would be it for us this week. Next time you'll see us again will probably be for the Man City game. Team sheet
I might get Ronan Ward and Noel Connaughton to do the team sheet tantrum with me. You never know.
You're
But as somebody said to me today, I don't envisage that Neil Dunworth would finish his speech in time for any of you to have a chat about a team sheet tantrum.
Speeches are 4 o'clock and the game is 5:30. And I'm telling you now, don't bother putting any bets on my speech. My speech is 10 minutes maximum. Less, I would say. And Paddy here, my dog, will attest to that. Isn't that right, buddy? Isn't that right? He's going to get his haircut tomorrow. He's getting a wedding haircut himself tomorrow.
Coat, is he?
He is, yeah, he is indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, Neil, before we go, I'd just like to do something we haven't done in a long time.
There's a lot of everybody. That can.
Cheers to a Champions League quarter-final. Who would have believed we've been talking about these for all these years? We've come through the mire. The next time we talk, we'll either be in a Champions League semi-final or we'll be looking forward to a Premier League run-in where all the results have really gone our way apart from Newcastle today. So drink it in. We're living in what will be the good old days when we talk to our kids and our grandkids. So enjoy it. Enjoy every minute. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Exactly. I can't do any better than that. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa. See you later in the week.